Well, hello and welcome to a beautiful autumnal day in the garden. There's a little bit of hazy sunshine there, which is just enough to just give you that little bit of heat. There's hardly any breeze, which is really welcoming, and it's just overall quite mild. And today's plan is to do a good tidy on any plants that are dead or dying, that have gone brown pretty much already, that are not going to benefit from being left outside anymore. And why I'm definitely trying to push myself to do it today is because even though today is so peaceful and beautiful, tomorrow is going to be quite stormy. There's quite strong gusts of wind expected, but also over the next couple of days there's yellow rainfall warning, which means that we're expecting a high volume of rain, which also is going to make anything that's already dead or dying, going to make them really mushy and quite unpleasant. So if I can at least remove some of that kind of foliage from here, I think I'm going to harvest whatever is on the corn. So any bit of ears that are there already, I'm going to just harvest them. The temperature is just too low anyway. And I've already taken out some of the pumpkin vines that were growing really into the grass. There was plenty that was growing actually into the planters here as well. And I want to take them out because I'm hoping to cut some of the grass back. So far we've been avoiding cutting the area where the vines were in the grass, but the grass is just growing taller and taller all the time, and there's too many weeds popping up. I also had to remove some of the calendula, which maybe comes across quite drastic, but I just couldn't physically reach into the planters. There's been already plenty of heavy rain showers, and they've been just pushing down a lot of this kind of taller foliage. So I don't want to clear everything. It still looks quite lush and plenty of green growth still out there. But anything that's brown and mushy already, I want to remove that. And I've just taken a little bit of a break at the moment, but I'm going to be taking it easy. I'm going to pace myself on it because I'm sure you could hear it from my voice, but over the last 3 days I've been actually off from work as well. And I have to keep myself dry and warm. I can't sweat because otherwise my husband is going to be ordering me right back into the house. But I'm so sick of staying inside the house and having the day like today. Just every part of me is calling for me to go out and just enjoy this kind of weather. Because yeah, we'll be stuck indoors long enough, especially the rainy season is here. Well, in Ireland it's always rainy season. So yeah, I have a lot of deadheading, any kind of big flower heads like in the rose garden. I have gladioli to cut back, lavender to cut back, which is a great thing to do actually in September as well. But now we're obviously in October already. So let's do a bit of a tidy up today. I'm going to start with the peas. As you see, they are well gone over, but at the moment they're actually really nice and dry still. There's a good rattle out of all of them, so I can save as much seed as I need to from them. Now these were a mix. They're definitely, there's some sugar snaps mixed in with Kelvedon Wonder. And as long as I don't mind that, I could obviously just plant them again or sow them next year again. But I can also keep the seed pods or to sow the seed pods for salad greens rather than for the pods for next year. So I'm still going to pick out better pods and save the seeds from them. But perhaps for next season it will be better for me to really separate out the varieties properly. Now the peas have really liked this wet season we had. They've been doing wonderfully. The same actually with the beans as well, the runner beans. I've actually plenty still to harvest, and there's still more pods forming on them. And they've been delicious, just delicious. Because of the runner beans, I still have flower heads on them, and I had a lot of borage planted in between the peas and beans. And at the beginning of the season, I was like, oh, that might have been a mistake because they'll get so shaded out inside here, but they haven't. And they've been flowering their hearts out, and obviously bees do love the borage nectar itself as well. But now once the season is coming to an end and there's a lot of seed forming after the flower heads, finches, I've seen so many finches coming in and actually eating the seeds off those. Okay, it's water break time because the mind is not with it anymore. Yes, Coco, you looking for water? No, there's plenty of puddles there now, darling. Okay, and now the panties here. I can't play the ball at the moment. I have a story time for people. I have a bit of a story time. Yeah, I know. I know you want to pass by me, but Coco is here and you'll frighten the bejesus out of her then. Okay, we can't have that, can we? No. The wild rocket is flowering so beautifully, and the seed heads are all edible. Well, they're obviously very strong in flavour, like wild rocket is against the standard rocket or arugula. Yes, well, I'll let you pass. You go really calmly. Easy. Go easily. No, you just sit next to me. Okay. Right. So, the story time is that you settled? Okay. So I have to fill you in now what I did because I'm after realising that I never had the microphone on. So, first of all, I tidied up the bed that had turnips in. Some turnips had just grown quite big now, so I took them out, and the rest had gone to seed, and there was some radishes as well that had gone into seed. So I took them all out, and between the blackbirds now and when the hens have just broken into the kitchen garden side, they've actually pulled the wood chip too much over the beds, or in another case they actually pulled the soil onto the wood chip. So I tried to tidy all that up and weed it as well. I do like a bit of a tidy garden. I find there's a difference between if it's messy or if it's showing abundance. So like this isn't messy because it's all fresh and green and it's flowering. It's great for pollinators. I could eat every part of it if I wanted to, but it's really still voluptuous, and that in my eyes shows abundance. But if I have like the borage that had fallen across the footpath, or obviously the weeds and things, that's messy. And I like a tidy garden. I just like it. As much as I can, obviously, because there's plenty of areas that isn't tidy. Anywho, then I moved on to the corn and I harvested what was there to harvest. Now, some of the stalks were totally empty. There was not one ear on them. And then others had 1 or 2 ears on them. And obviously this year now was a full-on failure for any kind of proper harvest of corn for myself. Previous years I've sort of trialled a few different varieties, and last year's crop was really good. We actually had enough even that I could put some into the freezer. But this year I pushed myself to get a heritage variety, so it wasn't an F1, And then obviously that combined with a cool and wet season that we had. So yeah, I was expecting just a bit too much from the corn in that kind of circumstances. Like if I'd have a massive polytunnel and they would get shelter from the cool weather in there, I'd say yeah, I could depend on having proper harvest from corn as well. But like I said, this is purely a novelty, purely a hobby, and I think yeah, going forward just stick with F1s because I am trying to push myself to grow more of the heritage varieties, so varieties where I can, if needed to, harvest the seed so that I can rely sustaining sort of the new seedling and fresh plant production. I don't have to rely on the seed packets from the shops as much, just for whatever reason. If things go downhill in economy, world, what else? Corn will never be the type of vegetable that we can rely on to sustain us because we just don't have the climate for it. So I should stop stressing about that, get myself another F1. And I think last year's variety I grew that was great was Swift. So it was shorter. I think it was shorter as a variety, but there was there was plenty of ears on them, on the plants themselves. So, but I'm taking a little rest break now because even when the sun came out for a while there, it got really warm, so I had to take off the coat. But I'm just too aware of not being in the full health, so I shouldn't take chances too much. I wanted to show you something here on the pumpkin patch because obviously I've been able to trim those excess runners back now. I've taken everything off the planters up there as well and actually been able to sort of have a look around. And if there was one time I really cursed myself that I never labeled the plants, this is the time, because I definitely had like 4 different varieties of pumpkins or squashes. And looking at these guys here, you see those 2 guys here. If I have a label for them, it will confirm what I'm thinking it is. But otherwise, I had Crown Prince, I had a Waltham butternut squash, I had Ujiki curry, and I had Amish pie. So yeah, 4 varieties. And this one here and this guy there, they're big, nice, obviously beautiful pumpkin color pumpkin, but the shape of it is very typical to an acorn shape. So it would be the Ujiki curry type shape. But these are way too big. Like Ujiki curry should be way more intense, sort of orange, and but it would have this kind of a acorn shape. So, but I suppose size-wise, it should stay around. What's that? It's a small football, and these are way too big. And then as far as the Amish pie pumpkin goes, it should in a colour be just a typical pumpkin colour, but it should be just much more of typical shape as well, but not overly big. And because these guys here have this acorny shape, it's not one of those either, and I can't see any labels anywhere. Like this is another version of something. There's a couple of pumpkins further down as well, which look like the Crown Prince, because they are darker coloured ones. And then there's one in the middle there amongst all the plants and vines is a way paler one, which looks more flatter in shape. So I'm thinking if that's the Amish pie. So what I'm thinking is, let's say the Crown Prince is okay. Crown Prince is what it is there. Those seeds were fine. Maybe that was the Amish pie. But as far as the Ujiki curry, I have none that look like an Ujiki curry should look like. So what I'm thinking, that some of the seeds I had were shop packet seeds, and then some were home saved or what I got from my mum. But I never checked with her, like, did she know, was it 100% like a clear that there was no cross-pollination that had happened from the pumpkin where she got the seeds from, because pumpkins do cross-pollinate within their own, I can't think of that word now, I'm sorry. But anyway, so that's why I'm thinking that there is a cross-pollination that has happened. Now, these pumpkins might be totally fine to eat. It would be down to actually cutting it open and tasting it. So if it has cross-pollinated and it's toxic, it should taste really, really bitter. Now, I don't recommend anybody actually testing it out themselves. It's just something it's up to yourself. If you're feeling brave enough, but in my belief, it should be very bitter tasting if it is toxic. Otherwise, it would be absolutely fine to eat. Now, the hens actually started to pick at one of the small fruits in here. I'll take that inside and I'll cut that open, clean it up, cut it open, and we'll taste that. And if it's okay, I'll throw it with the rest of the vegetables on the sheet tray and we can bake it up. Like this one now. Some reason I remember that I did put the crown prince at that end rather than this end. And there's one pumpkin here. And that's a dark colour. I'm thinking in case this is Amish paste, but it just hasn't coloured up yet. Why did I not label it? Okay, Waltham butternut squash is in this corner because there's actually still a pot inside here and it has the Waltham label on it. Okay, so this was the way I labeled them. If I see more pots. I had to come back onto the steps here. I was getting a little bit tired, getting weaker. I'd say a time to go in and rest a bit. But I'm still delighted that I was able to spend quality time in the garden and spend time outdoors and just, yeah, being outside here, it's so pleasant. And I'd say even after my little rest inside, I'd say I'll still probably come out here. And even if I have to, just the same, sit here, maybe a cup of herbal tea with honey and wrapped up warm, it just does wonderful things to your soul. Especially, as I said, the weather warnings are coming. For Kerry's side now, for us here, it's only, I think, going to be yellow, but it is going to be orange for quite a lot of the country. So it is going to be, there's going to be plenty of rain on the way. And yeah, just to make sure you make most of this is wonderful. But do let me know what you think about the pumpkin theory I have. Do you think there's a bit of a cross-pollinated seed that I ended up getting the seedling out of and obviously planting it? I also want to thank all of you that watched my last video and commented. You're so wonderful. You are absolutely superstars. Thank you so, so much. Because I am a full-on introvert. I'm really private. And even doing these videos, I have plenty of footage where I'm so anxious when the camera starts rolling and I can't catch my breath. And it's sort of a huge thing. It's very it's really being out of my own element to do these videos, but it's just more about just enjoying gardening and sharing that experience, that I have to sort of think of the bigger picture and get outside of my own headspace. But yeah, thank you so much. It means so much to me that you commented. It really does. Also, I actually wonder if the swallows have finally left now, because yesterday I still saw them around. I always try to really keep an eye out for them when they come, when they arrive and when they leave. And last year I was really worried about them because they left at some stage mid-October. But I saw them around yesterday and they were resting a lot on the electric wiring here. But today I haven't seen any of them around, so I hope they've started to return back to Africa where they actually overwinter. I hope they're not sticking around here for this storm to come, because obviously they'd find it very hard to find any kind of insects in the wind and rain. But sometimes obviously they do go to much higher levels to hunt for insects and then they come down again. But today, because of the type of the cloud cover that's here, I wouldn't expect them to be above the clouds. But you never know. The birdsong today has been absolutely amazing. Just amazing. It's a wagtail here that's singing next to me. So yeah, until next time.